Good afternoon. Stephen Elliott here, coming to you on November 2nd, 2025, on the Coherent Breathing channel. Today I'll be discussing principle number 0. This is a new principle that I've inserted recently, but it's been an integral part of coherent breathing since the publication of the New Science of Breath in 2005. This being our recommendation that in order to apply coherent breathing to our psychological or mental state, it is important to first address our physiologic or physical status and state. The reason for this is that we now know, as we did before, that our mental status, as it can be measured and observed, is highly impacted by our physiologic state, real-time physiologic state. And this is measurable via instrumentation, specifically EEG, but other measures of autonomic nervous system state. So in the beginning, Dee Edmondson and I were making the rounds at various professional events, ISNR, AAPB meetings, and the like. And this was an important principle that we were putting forward to that audience, many of which were psychophysiologists. And in general, the psychophysiology community understands this Mobius of psychophysiology, if you will, or the relationship between the body and mind and how one affect the other. So our argument was using biofeedback instrumentation that one can observe the autonomic state as reflected in the physiology and work with that measure to calm the body down, allowing it to relax and be comfortable. And along with that, we found rapidly in a clinical environment, this being Dee's, that by modifying the state of the body via biofeedback, one could change the experience regarding the intervention, that is, the clinical intervention regarding the state of the mind. I've been saying for a number of years now that our general take was that by addressing the state of the autonomic nervous system as it can be observed by instrumenting the body, the earlobe, the fingertip, hand temperature, that it makes a psychological intervention much more accessible to the client and the practitioner. I argue that this is a function of making the mind more plastic, that is more able to adjust to changes that a person might want or wish to make, but has found it very difficult because it's like emergency brake is on. And no matter how we might strive to change, it's slow and difficult. But if we address the state of the body, which is reflective of the state of the nervous system and related highly to the state of the mind, then it's much easier to affect the state of the mind the processes of the mind, what we think, how we think, our willingness to change, our ability to see that we have a command of certain measures that are reflective of how we feel and can dramatically change the course of our own lives by doing so. So this principle says that coherent breathing is about taking mindful control of our body and our physiologic status. And having done that, then begin working on our own psychology and or mental state. The conundrum, again, is that here we have to use the mind to facilitate changes in the body. And those changes that we do successfully facilitate in the body are then reflected in our state of mind. All of it being an integral part of the central nervous system, autonomic nervous system, and the means by which the body and mind are related. So a reminder, and this fills in a blank at the beginning of the Coherent Breathing Principle series, this being Principle 0. I hope that makes sense to everyone, and I'll see you next time. We have Principle 13 queued up next. See you then.